Hi, good evening, and welcome to it's news really, rather than the insiders, as there's literally just me and Win. Chris may jump on board in a minute, but bless him, Chris has had a electrical outage over the pond there, and he's probably in darkness as we speak, with no internet. So he may come on board in a minute, but obviously you've got myself and my lovely wingman to my left there, the mighty Win, and we may have a few more come and join us as we go on, as the football has just eluded. So just get them in as and when they come. But before we start, and obviously I'll give Win the chance to say hello to you guys. I'm just going to give.
Well, instead of type, I was just busy typing it into the chat. But instead of typing it into the chat, hello everyone, welcome. Thanks again, you lovely mods, and let's
there
get
you go.
the show on the road. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the likes as usual.
Yeah, so we've got a bit to go through. Like I said, Chris has just literally sent me literally a hot list to work off. So bear with me while I try and decipher what Chris has put. But a lot of it's obviously out there. It's common knowledge to a lot of people anyway. We're just going to go literally and cross the T's and dot the I's on it, really, and just get each other's opinion on what we've heard today, and any other little snippets that are coming our way. But again, as Winner said, thank you ever so much for the guys in the background, all the mods. If you like what you hear and see, please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. It makes no difference to us, but it just gives us a little bit more of an avenue to go down to reach more people that may like the content. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be included in any of the features. And obviously, if you want to come and give us a bit of a hand, please hit the members only button and come and join us for a couple of quid a month, where you've got a chance to win prizes. Like I said, me and Win are going to be jumping on and off most of the week anyway, with or without the lads, just to try and keep up to date with what's going on. And I'm sure Chris will be doing some thumbnails behind the scenes to keep you guys all up to date. So, first topic on the agenda today, matey. DCL and Minteh, it's no longer happening. What's your honest opinion of it, buddy?
I've got two sort of trains of thought on it.
Yeah.
One is it's come to light today that Chelsea and Aston Villa have been doing deals involving first team players.
Yeah.
But in order to balance the books for FFP purposes, they are each selling the other club one of their youth team for extortionate amounts of money. Or is it extortionate amounts of money? Who can say?
Who can say?
Who is to say that 18-year-old who's only played 50 minutes of first team football, so obviously wasn't getting selected for Aston Villa, is worth 30 million pounds? Nobody.
Yeah.
Because as Colin, my mate, said in our Undisputed the other night, the value of something is what the person who's selling it is prepared to accept for it, and what the person buying it is prepared to pay for it. And if Aston Villa are happy to accept 30 million pounds and Chelsea are willing to pay 30 million pounds, who is anybody to tell them that they shouldn't? It's a purely subjective decision which no independent panel can turn around and say, no, that fee is way overinflated. So that's the first thing. And by all accounts, the deal which we were doing with Everton, and Everton, by the way, also had a deal with one of their youngsters going to Villa. So it looked to the outsider looking in as though 4 of the clubs who are most constricted by PSR, FFP, call it what you will, had got together and decided to use the fact that homegrown players are exempt, if you like, from FFP regs and whatnot, money spent on them. So everything you sell a homegrown player for is pure profit. And it looks to the outside world as though we 4 clubs, Everton, Newcastle, Aston Villa and Chelsea, who are all, as I say, hamstrung by the FFP rules, have got together and said, well, hang on, there's a way we can overcome this. There's a way we can bend the rules and get around the rules by including in the deal a homegrown player and massively inflating you in order to get the player that they want for considerably less than what his true market value is. Now, I can't see how there's anything they can do. However, they are having a meeting. They are the Premier League are having a meeting as we speak to see. So, and I think when Newcastle, I think one of the options for what's happened is that Newcastle, who have always wanted to be squeaky clean in all of this, have said, hang on a minute, this is all coming to light now. It's going to come under scrutiny. It's obviously not the get out of jail card that we were looking for. So I think they've pulled the drawbridge up and said, no, we are steering clear of this. Now the other reason that is commonly being reported about why it's broken down is because Everton have placed a £37 million valuation on Calvert-Lewin. So that instead of us getting Calvert-Lewin and let's say 20 million or 15 or 20 million plus Minty, it's effectively we would be doing more or less a straight swap.
Well, that's what they said, wasn't it? Because I think the original offer that went down was Minteh plus 15 million for DCL.
Well, Newcastle have finally come out and said that they value Minty at 40 million.
40 million, yeah. But isn't that literally going on what you just said about youngsters that aren't playing? I mean, I know he went to Feyenoord on loan. You know what I mean? But it's exactly the same, isn't it? Because everybody, around the social media things, everybody keeps on saying that Bruno's not worth it anywhere near 100 million. They would only give him, luckily if he gets 40 to 50 million. Now, you're not going to put Minteh and Bruno in the same basket, are you, at the same price? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Is Minteh's valuation overhyped? Is the ceiling too high? Because he's unknown, isn't he?
Well,
what's your thought of it, DX?
I really hope that we keep Minteh because I think he's a real talent, fantastic talent, and that's a problem position for us, isn't it? We've not had many good right wingers. Obviously, Rule Fox, but not really any others that have been that great over the last few years. And
he loves getting that job in, doesn't he?
He loves that Rule Fox, doesn't he?
I gotta get him in.
By the way, kid, you're sounding very, very good tonight.
Okay, well, that's a bonus. Maybe I need to festival for 4 days before I come on the show.
Well, have you not got some new kit there?
No, it's the same old.
Oh well, it sounds much better to me.
Oh, that's good. You can hear me. That's a bonus. But yeah,
you can always hear you, but you're saying dulcet. You got them dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the husky voice coming out. So Calvert-Lewin though, I wouldn't mind Calvert-Lewin as an option in the squad, as a one of 3 strikers, let's say. But I would. I mean, that can't be 37 million. That must be paper talk, surely. The guy's worth.
Yeah.
18 million. He's worth a punt at 18 million. Take a little punt, but to get any more than that, and it's just crazy. So I'm kind of glad it's fallen through in a way. If they're going to be ridiculous, then we don't need to be doing business with them.
See, I looked at the mag today. They'd done a cracking article on the Dominic Calvert-Lewin DCL, and it was literally his because everybody's talking about his injuries and everything else, and he's going to be a high risk. And they've done an actual article on him on the mag, and again, you don't have to take my word for it. Please go read it. It's on social media. They did some good write-ups, and it shows you over the past years how many games he's actually missed. And he's been really consistent, to be fair, playing majority of the seasons, most seasons, apart from the last two. And none of us, even though we because obviously we're all looking for people that's going to play 30 plus games a season now, especially with our injury crisis last year. And I think that's also fresh in everybody's minds. But I also think the way Everton were struggling for survival, have they brought the lad back too soon after his injuries? And obviously it's reoccurred because he's not recovered fully from the original injury. None of us will ever know that. But it just seems really strange that out of his whole career, he's only really had the last two seasons where he has this glass effect. So I do think we are a little bit, top heavy on the pointing the figure that he's going to be another Wilson, because I don't think he is. And I think he's virtually over his injuries now, because obviously he performed for a majority of the season. Yeah, okay, some off the bench, but he performed a majority of the season, but he just didn't get any goals. And I think that's the other thing that people are questioning. He just doesn't score enough goals for them. But again, if you're just coming back from injury, are you not just trying to get you're playing in a weaker side, you're trying to get your sharpness back, he scored a cracking goal against Liverpool. He's great in the air. He scored some really nice goals, good touch in front of goal. He plays well with his back to goal as well. And he's great as a defender. So, I certainly wasn't going to go out there and obviously wave the flags to say that, we've got an elite player. But I certainly think, he was going to fit into our mould. And according to, and again, I don't know how true this is, and please don't shoot the messenger, but if you look back in May, I believe it was Steve Nixon that wanted DCL, and he was looking at him back in May. So, and that's the rumour that's come out. I have no evidence of that, so please do not point the finger and say, that's rubbish. I'm an ITK, because I have that. It's just something that I've heard. And if that's the truth, surely our scouting guys would have literally looked at him from every point they could to see if he mirrors what we're losing, which is potentially Wilson. And I mean, I'm with Win. I don't want Wilson to go, but I don't think it's in our hands anymore. I think Wilson has more or less asked for first team football, or at least regular football. And I mean, yes, he gets the odd 20 minutes at the end of games, but I don't think Callum wants that anymore. I think he's coming to the pinnacle point of his career where he wants to go further. I mean, how do you guys feel about, I mean, for me, I think, I'm not saying we've got out of jail, but I don't think it's something that I would say, you know what, either way, if he come or whether he went, I'm bothered about it. It's certainly something I don't want. And yes, the price tag is high, and I would never have paid 37 million for him. And I can understand why Newcastle pulled out when they only offered 15 plus DCL for Minteh, because they're obviously asking for 40 plus for him. So they devalued Minteh on what that was going, on that going rate. So, or whatever rate Newcastle put on DCL, which apparently the original offer was 7 million. So they obviously didn't rate him that high. And again, I don't know how true that is, because you see a lot on social media.
I cannot believe they would only have offered 7 million, to be fair.
No, I can't, mate. It seems crazy that but again, it's whether they're interested in selling, isn't it? Do you go in there with a cheeky offer to see if there's any interest first, and then go in negotiating?
Well, he has only got a year left on his contract, so
yeah, I know exactly. And that's
maybe we should be battling away for Tony.
What, sorry?
maybe we should battle for Ivan Toney. But I think that the attraction of Calvert-Lewin probably is he might not mind being second choice or third choice, maybe second choice. But like he might not mind being a super sub type player, plays the cup games. Same with Trafford.
You think Ivan Toney would?
No, this is why I'm saying Toney might not work out. Because with Calvert-Lewin, he might be a guy who might accept that role. And the same with James Trafford. I think a lot of these players we're signing, to an extent, maybe even Lloyd Kelly, they're players who might not like throw a tantrum if they're not in the team every week. Whereas if you go out and buy, let's say we've got Sesko would have had to have played every week. We were never going to get him anyway. But if we get some high-profile big player, Elise is different because right wing, there's a position there for someone. But Calvert-Lewin, we do need three. I think we need three strikers, and like with the goalkeeping situation, you need players who are willing to be. They might not play very often, but when they come in, they can do a job for you. So I just hope we don't lose Elliot Anderson. That's the other rumor, isn't it? And it'd be a shame if he went off.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there, matey, that don't rate Anderson. They don't think he's going to be as good as the Longstaff's type of player. And I think, I think he needs game time. And I think if he stays with us this year, because of the depth of squad that we've got, I mean, don't get me wrong, for me, Tonali's still a question mark because we didn't see him enough. And when we did start to see him the first few games, apart from the Aston Villa game,
and the Liverpool game,
quite a lot.
I thought Liverpool and Villa were 2 games.
That's right. He looked class against Villa, but was that the score just giving us a bump? For me, I just thought he was too close to Bruno too much of the time. He wasn't given any space, and he followed Bruno around the park too much for my liking. But he's got to get used to the way we play. I understand that too. So for me, the question mark is still on Tonali.
Definitely.
I think so. I would like to put his mediocre performances after Villa, and you could argue, I suppose, Liverpool. I didn't think he was particularly.
I thought him and Gordon, when they went off that turned the game against us, like that's when Liverpool started to take.
Yeah, well, a lot of people said that, and it was an easy reason to make, as opposed to Botman, being unlucky and a ball bouncing off his arse. But that's water under the bridge. I think one of the reasons that the mediocrity could have been there, as we've seen with Trips, is he had other things on his mind at the time. He knew what was coming round the corner. So I am hoping that that's what affected him.
He looked worried, didn't he? He didn't look like it didn't look quite right.
Yeah, he'd got some on his shoulders, hadn't he? He was playing really heavy-legged, if you like. He didn't get around the pitch very well. There was, like you said, and I think a lot of it was because of mentally he was probably fatigued with all the worry and everything else.
Viking there, he's saying Atlanta and Charlotte in the MLS are interested in Wilson. I knew Atlanta were interested in Miggy, but I didn't know they were interested in Wilson.
Have we got the bunts to afford him?
There's a few coming out now. But just to finish on, like, obviously your point, Win, Key88 has mentioned here, I did put it on the screen, but I just think it's fair to go back over these points. And he's put, in fairness, teams all over Europe are paying lots for young South Americans. Now, I know Chelsea have just bought that lad for crazy money on an 8-year contract. And obviously, because he's under 18, he can't come over to England until he turns 18. So, we know this. I mean, I think I can't remember the figures now, but I know it's a hell of a gamble. He must be producing something in the South American leagues in terms of that type of money at them. But what I'm saying,
Holland have done it for years, of course, and Brighton, Brighton are the leading light in England at the
Barcelona,
minute.
How many of these actual South American youngsters really make it in the Premier League? Like, you think about someone like Kennedy, for example. He looked a real talent, didn't he? He had a great loan spell with us. The first loan spell, the second loan spell, he was terrible.
I was going to say, I didn't think he had a great loan.
Yeah, the little half a season, he was very good. But yeah, he then he just sort of faded into obscurity.
Yeah,
and I think Chelsea still had him on the books till he was like 26 or 27 because his contract was so long. So
Tony Bloom, who owns Brighton,
Yeah.
He runs a big gambling organization in America. And of course, one of the things that they lay odds on is South American soccer, because there's literally millions of South American immigrants in the USA who like to bet on their own leagues. So he has to make sure that when he's setting the odds for those football matches, he knows what he's doing, or he'll end up getting fleeced. So in order to achieve that, he's got a team of statisticians working full time in the States who do nothing but watch South American league football, including Division 2 and all, because he's laying odds for all of these matches. So he's got his guys scouting these effectively and looking for what's going to happen. So his scouting team is literally their livelihoods depend upon them making correct decisions. Because if all of a sudden, I kind of think of 2 second division clubs, Belonga United beat Brassica Wanderers or something, and he's laid them at 16-1 or something, then he's in trouble, and whoever's given him the information to lay those odds will get a rocket up their arse.
Yeah. The Beer Viking said there's a loophole they can't close, apparently. But I thought that's how Chelsea got around it last time with the 8+ year contracts. And they said they were closing them loopholes. But that's
amortization. As I've said a million times on here as well, amortization, all you're doing with amortization is kicking the can down the road, because sooner or later it catches up with you. If, for example, Chelsea have now got, 20 players, the last 20 players that they've bought, who they've amortized over 8 years.
Yeah.
That still means that for Caicedo, for example, you've got 115 million there, divided by 8 years is
about 15 million.
Yeah, 15 million a year. Yeah. So that's 15 million in the next 16 windows that they can't spend.
Yep.
And they've got 20 of those, albeit not at 16 million, but if they're all at 500,000, 2 million, it soon mounts up. Yeah. And you end up in a situation where you enter a transfer window and half of your budget's already spent on players who've been amortized in the past, which is why I'm not a great lover of it.
Fernandes cost about the same amount, didn't he? And he's on a similar deal. And Mudryk cost about 89 million, 86 million. Something. So all of those, if you add them all together, that's probably 70 million or something coming out of each window or out of each season, which is quite a lot, isn't it?
Well, half of it's coming out of each window, effectively.
Yeah, and then you've got they've got some money coming in for Lewis Hall and 1 or 2 other players, which balances it up a bit.
Yeah, but they've done a lot of selling, to be fair. I mean, they've sold them and Man City have sold players whose aggregate fees are nearly 200 million.
I mean, you wouldn't have wanted to sell Cole Palmer in an ideal world, but they have to abide by these rules. So,
well, apparently Pep didn't rate him.
Didn't rate him.
No, Pep did, according to all the Man City channeled.
That's
Pep
mad.
didn't rate him.
Well, he got one wrong there, I think.
Well, we'll see.
Absolutely. I mean, again, I'm only going on what The Athletic have put out. And again, I read this in the mag, and I'm trying to give sources so people don't think we're ITKs here. The Athletic have made a post. I haven't seen it myself, but the mag have written about it, saying that the ceiling that we've got is 25 million. That's where we're over. Regarding the PSR.
Where did that come from, the mag?
That was I read that today.
So the mag got quoting The Athletic.
So
they're quoting The Athletic.
Well, it's come from The Athletic. It's probably true then.
Yeah. So they said,
what's his face? Kieran Maguire. He was quoting 35 million. I still
35.
You can call me naive, I still believe that the powers that be at our club, they've been so careful not to breach FFP. I would be astounded if we were in any danger of breaching FFP.
Yeah, but I think if memory serves me right now, again, you know what my memory's like, guys. I think the figure actually was made public, and again, I haven't seen it anywhere, to be fair. So maybe it was made public to like financiers or the league or something like that on Friday, and the figure was 25 million over the 105 million per year that you're allowed to be in deficit of.
And they were trying to persuade Miggy to go in January for about that amount of money. So maybe that was the plan.
Well,
we'll get rid of this
exactly,
guy.
and I think that's the reasons now why. Obviously, they were considering any sale and I think that's the reasons why Elliot Anderson has been pushed towards Wolves for Max Kilman, because I think at the end of the day they must have realised that there was potential that this deal wasn't going to make the ground that they wanted, and gain that 40 million for Minteh to get him out of this deficit. Again, I don't know how true any of this is because, like I say, I've not seen anything apart from what I've read in the mag.
We just need
interesting.
Well, we've got a week to do business, but there's a lot of clubs in the same situation. Look at Aston Villa. Douglas Luiz apparently is on the way out, and they would never. I mean, they just qualified for the Champions League. Now they're having to sell one of their best players. I think it's a really corrupt system. It's awful, and it's just one of my biggest beefs with it is that you get these teams to get these young players. Let's say Lewis Miley, for example. And now, if we had a 50 million offer for Lewis Miley, we'd probably have to just go, yeah, okay, we'll have to let him go. But this kid is a Geordie. He loves the club. He's an incredible talent. He's just turned 18. Could be an absolute superstar. He's got all the potential in the world. And then you're having to sort of say, well, every instinct we have is to keep him here. He wants to stay, but we're having to now abide by these rules and get rid of this player. Same with other clubs having to do it with players. I bet Chelsea didn't want to get rid of Lewis Hall, but yeah, it's really frustrating to actually watch it kind of take action and all of this. And I think it's such a strange system. It's not really benefiting very many teams, maybe one or two, but even some of the clubs that are in that big six, they're now even one or two of them are on the on the precipice. So. Yeah, and they need to do something. I really hope they do. It's getting really annoying.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, from my light's just got out. Apologies, I've got a bit dull. From
the
way I look at it, I wish you've got the sound effect, like, you're right wingman. I think from my point of view, I can see the reasons why they was looking at Minteh. Minteh's come out and said he wants to play in the Premiership. That's his dream. He wants to play in the Premiership. And if he had his way, he'd stay at Newcastle. He doesn't want out at all. And I think we'd be wrong in trying to point the finger at him to say, you just want out. He doesn't. He's been told.
I've never thought that for a minute, really.
But apparently Leon...
No, I'm not saying we have. I'm just saying that there's going to be people out there that are going to point the finger and say, oh, he's never wanted to play for us anyway, And I think the other problem is with Minteh is because he wants to play football. He's a young, athletic guy. He's obviously, as Wynn alluded to yesterday, he didn't play the entire season at Feyenoord. He was benched a couple of times. Maybe he's a little bit hot-headed. Maybe he needs to calm down a little bit. There's a number of reasons, I think, that go behind this. Because, I'm probably going to be shot down by saying this, but if anybody looked at the entire season of Feyenoord, he didn't have every game was a great game. And if I'm honest, he did get substituted quite early on a few times because he just wasn't up to the game. And I think, again, that'll come in with maturity. I don't think, like I say, I think he's still a very rough diamond. And the other thing you've got to think about, if we do have Minteh on board, is every 2 years we're going to lose him to the African nations anyway because of his Gambia international. So, from my point of view, if he becomes the first choice, then we're going to have to start jiggling around every 2 years to fill that void for a month because he's going to be away for a month. So from my point of view, when you look at Arsenal's and you look at Chelsea and all the other clubs that have a lot of African nations, Man City as well, they have to shuffle the pack, and that's what I'm saying. That's our weaker area, and as you said, D, he'd be great as a number 2. Do you know what I mean? He would be great to have later on in the game when whoever comes in has run the legs off. You've got another young lad coming in who can turn a game. I think that would have been an ideal situation. But if he doesn't want that, what do you do with him? That's my concern, because as we said yesterday, you've got literally one season with this lad. And if he fails, you'll be lucky to get 15 million for him. You got me?
Yeah, but
like
it's
a lot of the foreigners that have come into
you roll the dice because you think,
yeah, of course you do.
With potentially how far can Miggy or Murphy get the club on that side? They can get you to a certain point, but Miggy's had his little half a season peak, and that's the only time he's played that well in 5.5 seasons. Murphy's functional and a good squad player.
But I think everybody agrees that Murphy and Miggy are not going to take us where we want to get to.
No.
Why I would be in favour of getting rid of Minteh if we can get 40 million for him is because that 40 million then goes straight towards an elite, top of the tree, straight in the team, guaranteed first name on the sheet, quality right winger who effectively were getting for a £40 million discount or a £32 million discount because we paid £8 million for Minteh. So that would be my only reason.
But you're going to get lumbered with
Minteh.
Lumbered with players
because then somebody else is taking the gamble. We've made a lot of money, thank you very much. Somebody else is taking that gamble. And as I said yesterday, hopefully, at some time in the future, if he turns out to be the next Rivellino, we'll be in a position to go and pay 100 million to get him back. If we haven't put something clever in the selling contract to say that we've got first option to buy him back, given various circumstances.
Is put the idea of the 8-year contract was to stop the depreciation of the player, not to amortise the contract.
It was simply spreading the payments. It was HP.
Yeah.
So
the idea, Mike Ashley did it for to make sure the players' value didn't drop. They would do it with players like Emmanuel Riviere, so that backfired. The
player's valuation will, and therefore his depreciation. If he gets worse all the time, his value, i.e., the depreciation, goes down. Yeah. But on the books, he's a player who's been bought for 80 million, and yet you're amortizing that for 10 million every year, regardless of how he performs. Supposing he rots in the reserves. He's still going down by 80 million. Yeah, which is why Newcastle are in the fortunate position, having virtually always paid cash for the players under Ashley, that any player we sell, the whole fee that we get becomes available to spend. Or goes in the kitty as profit, not just homegrown players, because Joey Linton, Miggy, Wilson, the rest have all been paid for cash up front. They don't owe the books anything.
Yeah.
Everything we get for them is pure profit.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said. I think at this present moment in time, again, until we know something more. Obviously, there's a lot of European interest in Minteh, and I do think it's only going to be a matter of time before he does go, which will be will be a shame, because I'd love to see him in a black and white shirt. But I understand the reasons why. You know what I mean? Simple as.
Maybe we should give him pre-season and make a decision. I know we have to sell before June the 30th, but
we don't have to sell him by June the 30th. The problem is the people that we want to sell. Yeah, the people that we want to sell, we can't sell.
Yeah.
Or there's no chance of selling because, like I say, the Saudi leagues don't start till the 17th of July. So they're not even going to look at coming into anybody.
Or you haven't sold 3 players, let's say, for example, to get that kind of money. So Longstaff, just an example, Murphy and I don't know, Target, if we've got 5 million, or Fraser or someone, you're having to get rid of a lot of players, which is much harder to do in a week.
Which is harder, exactly. It's exactly. Right, then we're going to move on to the next subject because we've spent half an hour on that. So Bruno Guimaraes, his contract, his clause in his contract expires at 1
an
minute,
hour and a half
to midnight. Yeah, and you know, I loved the fact what he said. I don't know whether you saw this in the media, guys. He actually turned around and stated he's not even entertaining talks with any club right now. It would be extremely surprising and shocking if he was to leave Newcastle this summer. Nothing is happening. There is no negotiations at all at any club or player. This is a brilliant news for Newcastle, I'm sure. Yeah. And he's turned around and said he's not involved with any talks with anybody. He's not even spoke to his agent or anything for anybody coming up. Now, I did have a look at a lot of the so-called teams that he was supposed to go to, and I looked at their fan base. And I must admit, a lot of their fan base
all of a sudden
was saying that they would not pay anywhere near the price that he is, on his release clause. They don't see him any more than a £50 million player. Now, for me, having watched him all season with you guys, when you look at the likes of Casado and Royce, who went to Arsenal, all over £1 million. He's up there, isn't he? He's up there with these players. I know there's different type of player, but when you look at his stats compared to others, he's right at the top of the pecking order.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I know he's still got weaknesses, but
he doesn't miss many games, does
he? That surprised me.
Yeah, but
say that again, mate.
But he's at the he doesn't miss many games. You're right there. Played 50 out of 51, and the one he missed, he was suspended.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, because they don't think they're going to get him now, he's gone from £100 million player to a £50 million player. Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I felt, to be fair. It was really strange in a way to actually read I was going to take some snapshots and put them on the screen, but I thought I wasn't going to lower myself to that level, to be fair. And you're right, Win. I think you're bang on, mate. I think it's because they knew there was no chance of him ever going. I know Pep is still interested. Don't get me wrong. Just because his clause has gone, it still doesn't stop teams coming in with player in cash, does it? If it suits us.
No.
They could come in with whatever they want, the 1st of July.
Yeah.
They could come in with 80 million plus a player.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of teams out there that can do that. So until the window closes, I ain't going to say he's ours now. Because I know, like, obviously Eddie Howe values him at well over 100 million, but it was 100 million that was accepted at the time. But he's happy. He doesn't want to go anywhere anyway. So, like I say, it's a lot of it's just noise.
And I'm still convinced, that £100 million clause only applied to teams outside the Premiership. I'm sure at the time when it came out, I'm sure it came from the club that he had £100 million buyout clause, but it only applied to clubs outside the Premiership.
Well, I say not according to his agent, because I don't know his agent, but I do follow a lot of the agents of our team, if you like, and there's a lot of talk about his contract is an open contract to anybody that can can pay 100 million for it. So it's not just a European club or any other club; it'll be anybody who can release the contract. Because that was the same with Elise's, wasn't it, buddy? If you think Elise's contract stated it was £60 million, but any Champions League side.
Only to a Champions League side, yeah.
Yeah, but any other team could go in there and put a lower bid, and that's what Munich did. They didn't pay 60 million for him. They've obviously paid 50 plus million with add-ons as well. And I think that's what I said. It's got to be stipulated within the clause at the time. So are you guys happy that there's nothing happening with?
Well, yeah, delighted.
Yeah. I've said I don't think anything will happen till after the Euros. That's when the business will really start.
We only have so many elite players at the club, and it's very difficult to keep those players. And he's one of the best players I've ever seen in a Newcastle shirt.
I totally agree with that.
For me, I just think it'd be
progression and things like that. Absolutely,
they're so difficult to replace. If you look at teams like Tottenham when they've lost Modric or Bale or people like that, and they've gone out and they've spent so much money, and players they've brought in haven't been a patch on those players that have gone, the top players, or even Carrick to an extent. So it's like, if we lose Bruno, there's no guarantee that we could ever find another player on that level. Although Joe Linton's good in Tonali, you might say, oh, he could be a replacement, but he might not adapt, like we've said, to the Premier League. So I think it'll be. I think he loves the club, and I think I always felt confident. I'm still confident that he'll stay at least one more season with us. I hope more, and if we can somehow sneak back into that top 4 next season, then I think he'll stay for longer.
I've got a comment there from Simon Farimond, a name that I don't recognise. I don't know how long you've been watching us, Simon, but welcome. Other top clubs are waiting for the deadline to pass. You watch come Friday, 70-80 million pound bids will start rolling in for Bruno.
Absolutely.
As it gets nearer the PSR deadline. That could happen.
Like I said, I can guarantee you it'll happen. Because there's a lot of top-heavy teams out there that have got players that are not playing and they want football. And it's an easier way for them, obviously, to get the team lower numbers down and obviously put a little bit of pressure on Bruno to tempt him away because they can offer some. I mean, who was it that offered?
I think what Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, Simon, but I think what you're saying, the reason for it for Friday is because we're coming up to the end of, Sunday is the 30th of June. So in terms of if we haven't done a different deal somewhere to find that 25 million, which you seem to be fairly confident we are short of in order to comply with FFP, I think that's the point that Simon's making.
Possible.
The deadline's passed, so you don't have to pay the million.
In other words, we'll have to take a cut price because we'll
have to take a cut price. Yeah,
I think if it gets to that point, why don't we just screw it and take a 4 point? Because it won't be a big deduction for 30.
But the point is, nobody knows what the deduction is. That there's no scale. There's no, Everton got 10 points for 19 million allegedly. Okay, it was subsequently reduced.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be trying to get in the Champions League starting off from a
that's obviously
from a -6
anything. But you don't want to be selling key players because you're going to end up losing more points.
And this is why I've got so much confidence in the backroom staff at Newcastle right now, because I don't think they will have allowed us to get into that situation, or they'll have something up their sleeve to it might be Wilson or Miggy going to Saudi. Who knows?
Yeah, my other slight worry, my thing with strikers, if we miss out on Calvert-Lewin, let's say, for example, not that we're desperately, a fan base, desperately behind that deal, but there aren't that many really good strikers around. Like Solanke, people have said, but that will cost a ton of money.
But Solanke wouldn't come to play second fiddle. You would have to be assured.
No. And there's really not a lot out there. You look at the Premier League top scorers, Watkins, Tony, Haaland. You're not going to get Haaland. Tony wasn't top scorer, but he's.
You're not going to get any striker. I would say you're not going to get any striker who's currently with a club that's in Europe.
Yeah.
So you can rule all of them out.
There's just not much out there, is there? There's a couple of lower league strikers you could take a punt on. Mitrovic, maybe, if you want to have a little dig. But again, he would be first choice.
There's a thing. We could get Mitro from Saudi.
Could try. But he would need to start, wouldn't he, as well, I think. He scored 28 and 28 last season.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ronaldo. But there's not really much available that I can see.
Well, but this is what we said the other day. It was the fact that, you're not going to get a second elite striker. So, what people expectations are on the fan base side of things isn't true fact, because nobody's going to come to the club to sit on the bench. Exactly. That's why I can't understand. I mean, if you're going to go for a player now, for me, DCL would have been that person that fits perfectly, into the same mould as Wilson. And by all accounts, Wilson is obviously looking at going. And for me, it made that sense because you've got a player that actually does everything the same as Wilson does going forward. I mean, obviously, he's not a goal scorer, but he can score goals. But he's better in defence. He gives you a lot more of a contribution as a defender for set pieces and stuff. So from that aspect, I always said it was a positive thing for me, not a negative thing. But, you know, not everybody saw it the way I did.
I was never doing somersaults, but I wouldn't have been spitting, you know, throwing me toys out the pram if it happened.
But just to like, so
I would rather go for somebody like Mbweni, who can do a job on the right wing and, when called upon, can play through the middle as well. And he's proven he can do that. He's proven he can do it in the Prem.
Yeah, but everybody said he's not as effective. The same as Gordon can do it, but they're not as effective in the forward number 9.
He was quite good for Brentford last season, though, wasn't he? He didn't get lots of goals, but he was effective there.
He was effective because of his strength, and that's what I said.
He's that type goal scorer.
No,
but do you think the reason why we've asked for this? Well, sounds like we've asked for 26 million for Wilson, which seems a lot of money to me. Is because maybe that's the hole that we need. And the other question I had for you guys, you might know better than I do. Do we need all of this money to come in one lump sum, or can we have it amortized?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
This is the thing, you see. Money coming in. The money, if we are £25 million overspent, we've got to get that £25 million in. So if we amortize if we sell a player in staggered payments, then the only payment that comes into this year's accounts is what we get paid this year. So the second and third payment that we get after that doesn't come into this year's accounts.
That's going to make it very difficult then, isn't it? Because even if we sell Miggy, let's say...
Whereas when we buy a player, we can split his costs into 5, 6, 7, 8, however many years we want to split it into.
It's going to be tricky then. I mean, to sell players, that means you could sell Wilson for 20 and you could sell Longstaff for 15. But if it's staggered over 4 years, 3 years, then that might not be enough.
Yeah, I think if we were selling any players valued less than 20 million, would be wanting all the cash up front.
Yeah, it'd have to be. But then are clubs willing to do that? I suppose if there's some clubs with a bit of surplus... I don't think there'd be any
doubt about it. The deal wouldn't be on unless there were.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's going to be like a crapshoot for everyone.
Absolutely, and like I say, I just think it's going to be a snowball effect. You know, as the month goes on now, I think you're going to see a lot more. Just going to have a
anyway. To change.
Hold on. We are 88 people watching at the moment, so thank you ever so much for everybody who's watching. If you wouldn't mind just pausing at the second and just hitting the like for us, just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like the content. It doesn't matter to us, but it does support us going forward. So please do that. And if we can win, can we go on to the Euro stuff right at the end, because it links in with a question from Chris. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Because we've still got one or two little contents that Chris wants us to throw at. Apparently, I haven't seen this. This is something that Chris has sent me. He's seen something from BenJacobs saying that Wilson could be potentially joining up with ASM.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's some interest there. I mean, I know there was like West Ham had come in, and when you said about the 26 million, that was bandied out everywhere. That they'd put down an offer of 26 million. And if I'm honest with you, mate, if there was an offer of 26 million, I think it would have been accepted.
Yes,
and there would have been a lot more rumours, you know, going down that line. So I don't think that was true. But I mean, obviously, you know, for the Saudi side, we're not going to hear a lot because their transfer market doesn't open to the 17th of July. So I don't know where that information's come from, you know, unless again, it's just going to be an agent going out there.
BenJacobs is a little bit hit and miss, isn't he, with some of his stuff, I've noticed. I do like him, actually. I think he's quite an interesting guy. But he's Yeah, I'm always a bit
I mean,
skeptical when
the
I
only
hear
thing
it's
about with it being
linked.
Saudi, let's assume, and you're saying their window doesn't open. There's still nothing to prevent them, arguably paying up front to secure the deal, whatever the amount of money you would need to get over the FFP is.
Can you do that?
Well, it will come out of the only difference then. Well, they don't have FFP rules anyway, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So they can pay the money whenever they want, and as long as it comes into our account, that's it, done and dusted. Nobody can say anything about it.
Excuse me.
Yeah. No. Well, okay. Well, if that's possible, then just dump them.
Even though the paperwork will still show him as a Newcastle player until the 17th of July or whatever.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't get a big old fee for Ryan Fraser sorted, isn't it? Clean it all up. But if we got 6 million for Fraser, which we won't, maybe we'll get 3 or 4. Get him out the door at least.
Just get it, just enough to pay his contract off. That's the main thing.
Keep getting these little bits out, Yeah. Then, I guess we're going to see. I think it's going to be a scramble over the next 7 days, and we're just going to see lots of movement, some weird transfers, perhaps. Because if you've got say you've got a surplus of 80 million to spend in this little few days, it almost is worth a punt, isn't it? Just going, oh, well, we'll buy a couple of these players that the desperate clubs are trying to sell. We'll get him and him, 30 million each. We've got the extra cash. We'll do it. So you could see Everton are being linked with a lot of transfers, aren't they? I know they're supposed to have new owners in the pipeline, but I thought their FFP was all over the shop as well. So
they were one of the 6 or so clubs that were named as being over or close to the ceiling of the PSR. And that's why I said it's crazy when you look at the clubs that were named compared to who's doing what business, because it just seems to be the same people, like you say, Everton being one of them, who have already had the points deduction already on their case. And that's probably the reasons why they put such a price tag on DCL. Because they're in the same situation as we are. We're looking for any scrap of money we can to clear the mark, and that's how it goes.
I don't understand how they can't dig themselves out of it, because they keep on having windows where they're not really buying many players. Because they paid a bit of money for Onana and whoever a few years ago, but they don't go mad, do they? They sell players quite often. It sounds like they're going to sell Branthwaite. So I don't really understand how they can constantly be in the mire. Maybe once you're down in the dirt, you can't get out. Maybe it's hard to dig out of it. I don't know, but it's weird.
I don't know what their debt situation is, because, of course, they'll have, if they've got massive debt, they will have payments to service that debt.
Yeah.
So I'm not too familiar with Everton's finances. All I know is that the Premier League found out they'd been overspending.
Yeah. No,
I mean, the last thing that I looked at on Chris's list, and I don't know, I haven't seen anything, to be fair. Apparently, we've been linked with Tottenham, looking at a South American player. I mean, he's put in brackets here, TuttoJuve, and I've just put that in, and it come up with absolutely nothing. Have you guys heard anything for us looking at a South American?
Have you got the name? Did you say the name? Sorry.
Well, it's down here. There's TuttoJuve, TUTTO, and Juve, as you would say.
TuttoJuve is
TuttoJuve. What's that?
Well, that's Juventus's motto.
Oh, someone's.
Okay. There you go.
Is there actually a player called TuttoJuve?
Oh, he's got you. He's got you.
He's a little cheeky devil, that boy.
He's crippled me, the swine has. Yeah, I'm thinking, what the hell?
TuttoJuve is there. How are the lads?
Yeah.
Juventus.
I'm not bloody Italian, man. I struggle to be Geordie the best at times. And to be fair, if I'm honest, that is probably all the news we've got at the minute regarding Newcastle. I'm sure it's going to fester. It's going to boil on. Like I say, I still don't think we've heard the rest about our main man here, Bruno. Like we've already said, it wouldn't surprise me.
I'm quite confident he'll be here next season.
Oh, I am. I mean, from his statement, I'm very confident because he said, "Here he is. You absolutely swine,
dude! I
you
swear
absolute...
to God, I just got internet, man. Are you guys about to finish?
I've just been talking about this TuttoJuve, and I said, I've never heard of this bloke. Who's this?
Well, it was
man.
TuttoJuve, I think, the one that produced this piece of news. But hello, everyone. By the way, thank you so much for bearing with these numpties without me. But
wait, so it wasn't a joke, the TuttoJuve then?
TuttoJuve is everything Juve.
Yeah,
it's their magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, it was in the magazine. This link.
Yeah.
Well, that's
but you've only given us half a story, Chris. You've not given us the name.
Yeah, there's no name to this guy.
No, I know. I want to get the name. It's because I just copy and paste the titles from these media outlets and just put them on there. But I wasn't expecting to have
the lads. I thought they were ripping the pee out of me. You said,
you were getting credit for a joke there.
Look like and sinker.
Well done, Chris.
Here.
You should have played along with it.
Let me find the guy, man. Let me find the guy.
Prankster on our hands.
Oh, it's Carlos Alcaraz. Actually, know this guy very well. South American lad. Argentinian from La Plata, Argentina. And he's at Juventus right now. And everybody's telling me you took your time and everything.
Okay, you made it.
PR says, please, different context next. This is getting old. What are you talking about, man?
Context.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Content next.
Different content next.
Yeah.
What do you think is getting old? What do you want us to talk about? A cooking show.
Go on, pick a subject. And we'll talk about it.
Pick a subject, man. Tell us what you want us to talk about. I can talk about the presidential debate, by the way, coming up on what is it, Thursday or something? We can talk about politics if you want to, GR, but this is Newcastle, man. We got to talk about the rumors and everything, news, etc. So that's what we got going on, man. But Carlos Alcaraz, man, he's a Juventus lad, and he's on loan at Southampton, where I'm sure he's supposed to be.
Alcaraz. Yeah, he's a really good player.
Yeah, so you're a Southampton guy.
And he's got the best haircut. I was going to say there's a guy called that at Southampton, but when you said Juve, I was like, oh, okay, that's not who it is.
Yeah, Niall. There you go. Niall says ex-Southampton. Yeah. And Simon saying, weren't we interested in the Argentine goalkeeper? Well, that's Musso. But I mean, I don't know. It was just probably one of these rumors that blow overnight and disappear with the wind. But we saw some of Mighty Win when we did the watch along, man. You like some of them American boys, didn't you? Come on.
He does like an American boy.
Hey, Musa, man. Musa, I'm telling you.
You were creaming yourself with Musa, weren't you?
Musa, man. Hey. Musa.
Like
Alcaraz is a nice lad, but he hasn't.
He's combative midfielder.
Yeah. And so that would be another one. Or Musa again. That's another guy. We don't have those types of midfielders, man.
Yeah, we didn't want one either.
DM. He's just like N'Golo Kante. I'm talking about.
If you said Musa was like N'Golo Kante once last night, you must have said it 25 times.
I'm telling you, man.
Look at N'Golo Kante.
Because you know what I love about Kante, man, is that he just.
I love Kante. Kante is the best DM I've ever seen.
And he gets to work. He shuts the hell. There was a video just not too long ago in wherever he's playing at right now, and I think Al Ittihad.
Playing in Arabia now.
Yeah, Al Ittihad. And dude, they give him a red card and everything, and he just shuts up, just walks off. No nonsense, no time wasting. Just a model footballer, man. But should have stayed at Chelsea. But everybody's got to cash in when you see fit. So, but yeah, I mean, we probably need a DM like that. I don't know, but
Eddie doesn't like a DM.
He doesn't.
Doesn't believe in
But it doesn't hurt to have that option. And
I do like a DM. I would like to see us play with a proper DM.
It doesn't hurt to have that option in there when you need to, close the game, shithousery, bring the guy in to, to help you in that midfield. So I think he'd be great. But I mean, What you guys been up to, man? You guys
We've been chatting about all the rumours.
Just before we get any further, I've got this lot set up.
Calvert-Lewin included.
So, who are England playing in the next round of the Euros?
Italy.
Eh?
Germany.
Shall I tell you who we could be playing?
Isn't the first and second of the other groups? Like
No, not necessarily, because we don't know where we're going to be finishing yet.
I'm going to say.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But I mean,
I'll tell you who we could be. We could be playing. We could be playing either the Netherlands, France, Austria, Poland, Romania, Belgium, Slovakia, Ukraine, Turkey, Czechoslovakia, or Georgia.
That's almost.
That's if we win the group.
Oh God, that's if we win the group.
That's if we win the group. If we are second in the group, then we definitely play. This is the only certainty. We definitely play Germany on Saturday at 8:00. If we finish second,
that would be a fun game, wouldn't it?
That would be a classic.
And if we finish third in the group, which is still a possibility. By the way, we have definitely qualified now. With Albania getting beat, we have definitely qualified as one of the 4 best third place teams. Scotland and Poland were already away, and now Albania have made it certain that we are definitely through to the round of 16.
Delicious.
So if we should finish third, then we play the winner of Group ERF, which is either Portugal, who've already won Group F, or, and you can add these to the list of the aforementioned teams, Romania, Belgium, Slovakia, or Ukraine, who are all currently level on 3 points in Group E. So trying to determine who England are going to play, unless we beat Serbia, unless we lose to Slovenia and Serbia beat Denmark, which is an unusual, you can't see that happening. If we finish second, we'll play Germany, but either which way, we've got a possibility of 11 clubs if we win the group, and a possibility of a different 6 clubs if we finish third.
What about West Germany? That would be one of the teams we could play. In Czechoslovakia, another
West Germany.
No, because he said Czechoslovakia and he's getting and he's getting a bit of stick in the mouth.
Not Czechia.
Basically, you can play against Yugoslavia. Any of those countries.
Yeah,
but man,
I'm just going to mention this while we've got a little bit of a lull. Cenk Corral, hello guys, or hello lads. Our transfer saga is turning up spaghetti. I am sure everyone agrees our existing squad should finish in the league 5th without major injuries. After Kelly signed, we need right winger alongside Minteh.
Spot on, Cenk. I was saying that. I've always said it.
Welcome, Cenk, to the channel, man. First time seeing you.
If there's anybody else apart from what we've seen to be we've got Josh. Josh is coming. I agree with. I trust the staff to make the work. But again, if we can't spend, I would rather take a hit this season, because I think going forward it will not be an issue, as revenues will only grow. Now, talking about revenues, it proves how I'm just going to throw this in now to the mix, because this is just to try to give people out there a little bit of normality, because I think at the minute everybody still thinks, because we've got these rich owners, that we can just go throwing money everywhere. Under our current Adidas front of shirt sponsor, they give us 40 million or up to 40 million pounds a year. Now, Man United, under the same shirt sponsor, get 90 million pound a year. That's where we've got to get to, guys. We're nowhere near them yet, but that's just on shirts alone. We are 50 million pound arrears. I mean, they can go and probably spend or buy 2 players just by their shirt sponsor alone. Not elite players, but they can go out there and spend. And that's where we are obviously stuck at the moment, because we are still in the lower tier when it comes to monies that we can spend, and that's the difference. Because of all the constrictions and everything else, I just wanted to give people an idea of where we sit on the table, apart
here's
from
the
the
thing.
cartel.
But here's the thing, right?
Go on.
Adidas, who are currently, as you rightly say, paying Man United £90 million a season. And why do they pay them £90 million a season? Simple economics. Because they know that they're going to shift X million units.
Yeah.
They're paying
That's what I said,
us.
we've got to grow.
Hang on, they're paying us 40. I think actually we're getting £25 million this season. If I
think it's 25, depending on how many we sell. Then we get so many bonuses.
But anyway,
how much we shift.
It's apparent already right now, 14 days after the shirts went on sale, that they have massively underestimated demand at Newcastle United. Massively underestimated it. Because online stocks have gone, store shops are gone, they've got no stock left. And there's nobody telling me that they hadn't planned for a bumper sales, for bumper sales happening on the launch, but they have obviously, and I cannot but imagine that they are aghast at how quickly they have run out. And that will therefore enable us to go back to them and say, now then, the next deal you're wanting to do you want to start negotiating that now? Because they'll have been overwhelmed by the amount of, the volume of sales that they've had of everything.
No,
because
the little units.
People know they can't get the first team strip, so they're buying all the other stuff. You can't get any other gear in XL and L and.
That's right. Yeah, there's only limited sizes, isn't there?
Yeah. You can't get the training kit. You can't get the. No. And as I say, they have massively underestimated the scale of sales that they would get from Newcastle. Because again, it's already know it's on a different level to where it was when Keegan was here. This is just through the growth of the Premier League.
Yeah, I saw
they haven't taken that. They probably based their figures on the sort of sales that they had around about the Keegan time.
Yeah. I saw the other day, I don't know how true this is, but apparently worldwide, Newcastle have got 618 million supporters worldwide. I don't know how they've got that figure. Obviously,
that'd be more than 10% of the world.
I don't know where those figures have come from.
That's a bit too high.
I said that. I said, but I saw it. I thought 618 million. That's crazy. Again, it was only what was on social media, so I don't know the exact source of that. But I like you, D. I thought it was a little bit on the high side. Just go in and have a look at one or two of the comments. Foxy's put plenty of good young options out there to be backup forward. That's not expensive and not injury prone. It's just about scouting, and this is what we were saying before, isn't it? I looked at that young lad. Is it Gay?
Yeah.
Are you?
The Palace player.
He's a Barca player. He wants out. He said,
for the starting 11, man.
And I turned around and said it was something like that we needed to look at. He's only got I think it's a £6 million clause, and there's obviously now there's lots of teams, lots of clubs looking at that clause and going, yes, he's young, yes, it's a gamble, but it's worth a punt. So I can see him going very soon.
Yep.
Foxy would take Iñárritu on a free. There you go.
If you spoke to Gnarly, let's say that. We don't really want to, but I'm thinking of players if you did get desperate that would actually command a big enough fee to do anything. There's only really Isak, Bruno, Gordon, Tonali, Livramento perhaps. That's about it, though, isn't it? 5 players. So not a lot of options out there if you're trying to get. Or maybe Lewis Miley, someone will pay big money for, but there's not a lot there.
Yeah,
so hopefully,
Minteh will probably...
Minteh, of course. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It's none of those are players we want to sell, but
no.
The more stuff I'm reading, the worse it sounds. Like they're saying now they're trying to block a loophole, which is you can do swap deals, and you can amortize the incoming swap, but you can there's some weird loophole they found anyway. And I was just reading that it said that a club in the Premier League complained about clubs doing it, so now they're going to try and block that loophole. So bit by bit, they're finding every single way of blocking everything. So it's becoming a challenging.
Well, we should hear something about these challenges from Man City on Friday, shouldn't we? So that'll be one to look out for, guys. If you're watching.
Did you guys talk about Callum Wilson potentially going to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, we've done the list, my friend. We've done the list.
Yeah.
Big bucks.
I was looking at the thumbnail and I just looked at it. I was like, man, if we sell him, no Calvert-Lewin, that means we're going to be back. We're going to have one main striker. What the hell?
But the mad thing is, on July the 1st, we could actually probably spend some money.
But that's and that's the beauty of it, is that we, and maybe rightly so, we talk about it every day as if it's the last day on earth, and there is a long wait of this transfer. We're still a long time before it closes, so you never know. Maybe the club has already something cooking, and we just don't know. And we're freaking out, but ultimately that's all we can do. We are fans, so it is what it is.
And you can see why we went on that Australia trip now, can't you? We're just trying to get in whatever cash we can, I think, as quickly as we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every little helps.
Beer Vikings put just because you amortise a player, that doesn't have to match the payment terms.
No, that's exactly what I was saying earlier on.
The selling club would accept payments over 8 years.
Yeah, no chance.
No, not at all. But also what Chelsea does is unbelievable. They give people 7 and 8 year contracts. I mean, you literally, all you have to do right now is say, look, I'll take care of myself. I'll go to a big club. Chelsea's a big club. I'll go to a big club, and I'm going to get a contract for damn near 10 years. That's my prime secured. The prime of my career is secured. You know what I mean? That's unbelievable. Who wouldn't want to?
If one of those guys is a bust, imagine if Caicedo turns out to be a total bust, they're stuck with him for
8 years, and Caicedo's going to be, well, I got 8 years to get better, so
he's got 300 grand a week. He's not going to get that anywhere else. Why would he leave?
Exactly. No, what you can also do, by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can amortize the price of the player over 8 years, but that doesn't mean necessarily you've got to give the player an 8 year contract. It just means when you sell the player, whatever you get for him will come off the amount that you have to amortize, but you'll still end up paying the 6 year the 6 yearly payments on what's left on what you owed on them.
But the thing is, no club is going to accept 8 year payment on anybody. I mean,
nobody's going to accept getting paid 8 years. No, but that's not as Viking just said before there. That's not the state of play at the minute. The state of play at the minute is you pay for the player any way you want to, and if that's 340 millions for a £120 million player for the sake of argument, then that's what you're going to have to pay. But you've now got a £120 million asset, which you can then yourself amortize over 8 years.
Yeah.
And you can give the player a 5 year contract.
Yeah. Noel Pell's just come and said, I haven't heard anything, mate, to be fair. Is Fraser still fighting for $3 million off the club, even though we're letting him go? I haven't heard anything, mate, since we talked about it. I would imagine knowing Fraser.
He really is a slug, that kid, isn't he? He just won't disappear. You can't seem to get rid of him. And he does this, but he seems to leave every club on a bad note, doesn't he? He just doesn't seem like a guy who. And I wonder if Southampton are thinking, God, actually, is this going to happen to us at some point where we either get lumbered with the guy, or we refuse to play a game, or fall out with the manager? Just and he seems like a really articulate, intelligent guy. When you hear him talk, it's like, man, this guy is actually seems like a good bloke. But but there's something in him that just seems to be trouble wherever he goes. So yeah, got to get a shot of him somehow. And if we get a fee for him, that would be very special.
Absolutely. I mean, Yusufa Makaku. I mean, I know he's unhappy, but I don't know how much he would cost. I've not really seen much of him. Are you guys familiar with this guy?
I'm not.
Well, Makoko, I'm thinking of that player from Championship Manager called Tonton Zola Makoko. No, I can't think of Yusufa Makoko.
Right. On a side note, though, so I just saw this question there, Simon. Why aren't you still allowed to carry 750 million debt in the club? They have for years. Is that? I mean, obviously,
because that was accrued before FFP was brought in.
Yeah.
So FFP was introduced after they already had that debt.
So everything gets grandfathered in.
Yeah.
After, yeah. Where was GR's comment? Because he wanted to talk. There we go. Look, he wants us to talk about the charges that were dropped on the Toon father and son with the flares. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, Eddie did one on Toon Life. When Newcastle went away, two lads on the outside of the Etihad lit a black and a white flare. It was a father and son. They were arrested on the point for using pyrotechnics at an event without any organisation. Obviously, they were evicted from the game, and they went to court in Manchester. Eddie got in touch with the lads, bless him, because he saw what happened. He'd got it on video, and according to, again, pardon my language, and I'm not going to go word for word, but what Eddie saw, he spoke to their solicitor to ask about the charges that had been given against them. The solicitor was telling the two lads, the son and the dad, to plead guilty, to which Eddie said, well, I don't think they should. I think they should plead innocent, because if you look, and there were stipulations to the charge, and under the C bracket, it was you have to visually be able to see the venue. Now, if you argue the point, being outside of the Etihad, they couldn't actually see the pitch, so they were inside the venue to see the sporting event or whatever event is going on. So the judge threw it out. It was a non-entity, because on a technicality, if you like, because what the police had put down as a charge wasn't true.
I fought the law, and the law lost.
Right. He also has
Eddie, because he supported them all the way through that. So well done, Eddie, on Time Life.
Yeah. He also has the club shop. He wants to talk about what's going on with the club shop. We tell him
the lack of shirts. I think we've kind of gone into that a little bit.
Oh, they got into Adidas, the same thing. The fan zone, nothing new, man.
Fan zone's opening in August, isn't it?
Fan zone's being developed. The mighty win.
Yeah. It was. I watched. There's a good kid, 55 degrees north. He does a 5-minute podcast every week, where he goes down with his camera and he shows exactly, the pipes have been put in this week.
Yeah.
We've now got some new metal work. Yeah, very good, very informative. But
I mean, we can't talk about it.
I watched the latest one, and it was literally just they put some gravel down, and they've got a couple more containers stacked one on top of another. But there's no groundbreaking news there.
Yeah,
they're getting on with it, and it should be open by September.
One thing. So, GR, hope you're happy, man. He's saying he's not having a dig, but come on, we'll get Crotts.
Get your ass on the show. Come on.
Put your point across. Beer saying that Jose was going to Qatar. Would take him as a backup. I would take him back. He's proven himself, man. He's proven himself.
Don't think he's mobile enough for the way we play.
And Mighty Wayne, you better fix this issue, man, because you either want. You say you want a proper center forward. and you're allowing DX. We don't allow anybody. We everybody says what they want. But I'm saying DX wants a striker that you know, that cooks, that cleans, that scores, that you know, that puts the kids to bed. The same with DM, same with wingers, man. You can't have it all.
No,
Either
that's
Southern forward scores,
that's
his
not
main
DX
job.
saying that. That's Eddie saying that.
Yeah, because we had Chris Wood, and Chris Wood, I'm not saying.
Yeah, no, but see that you cannot compare.
He's
How
a similar
dare
type
you?
of striker. He'd probably get as many goals for Real Madrid, wouldn't he?
No, okay, how dare you say that, man?
Anyone playing?
By the way, I think he would.
No, he wouldn't.
Probably would in that team with Bellingham and other people supplying.
But I would take him as a backup. Why not? I would take him in, man.
Would anybody have Woods back?
No, they wouldn't. They would Joselu though. But I tell you this: what's the point of having everybody the same style of play? I mean, you're so predictable.
Yeah, but it doesn't fit our system to have a target man of that ilk.
I'm not
That's
saying
why they've looked at Lewin.
I'm saying that he can be as a sub. It's the same as Musa. What sometimes you're going to be in games. You're not going to be a protagonist every game. For the most part, you're not. So you know you got to have options. That's my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just another Yank in that watches baseball and basketball, golfs.
And one of the few who watch Premiership football.
No, a lot of them do now, man. I'm telling you, a lot of them.
Well, I sent you the figures.
On the Hispanic side, they watch a lot of La Liga, of course. So there you go. But
the Premiership is still the most watched.
Yeah.
I sent you the figures because you're always going on about how the Americans watch La Liga and
Uh,
you watch everything, man. I'm sure. Of course, the Premier League is going to be.
Well, I looked up the top most watched
we don't know your
soccer matches in the US last season. All season, the most streams, the most tuning in, the most views.
Well, of course, it's going to be the Premier League.
So
by the way,
Foxy, the top 20 were all the Premier League.
Foxy said, "Don't get too happy. Believe you this, believe you that." I know Bolivia very well, and they're a poor team. The thing is, you can see this is what you cannot please anybody in this world, man. That's proof right there. Because if you beat Bolivia like the US did, as they should, then people say, well, that's a poor team they play against. I wouldn't get too happy. What the hell, man? They did what they were supposed to do. Simple as. Moving on, we'll see how the US develops. But yesterday was a proper match. Should have scored more. That Pulisic goal, that has nothing. It's just the talent of the player. He could have scored that on any goalkeeper, on any defense. It doesn't matter. It was a screamer, man. You know, so it's not like he dribbled past everybody and you can say poor defense and all that stuff. No, proper goal. Now the second one was what was the second one? I forgot. Who scored? Oh, Pepe missed like 20 shots. Yeah, I don't want him. But
Landon Donovan do anything?
What was that?
Did the biggest problem. Landon Donovan do anything in the game, or
man? Landon Donovan's got toupee, man. You ever seen? He got toupee. That's a weird toupee too, because it goes from the back. The wind blew, and that thing just peeled back like that, man. You gotta look it up. What the hell? How do you get a toupee on the back side of your head?
He's put it on the wrong way.
Come on, man. But anyways,
I do think there's an issue though watching players at tournament football because they rise to the occasion.
That's right.
You don't really get a full, true reading of any player, do you?
I agree. But
the one thing I was going to ask you, Chris, because you sent me a link or a part of the thing, and I couldn't quite get the idea of it, was about Southgate.
Oh yeah. It's again, I couldn't explain I was trying to send that message I was like this, trying to send it. But, no, it's just simply because there were rumors that Trippier was injured, but today, I believe who was the reporter that said that it was Trippier and everybody really trained today for England, so everybody's good and everybody's back. So that was one of the positives for Southgate tomorrow, that he's going to have everybody. So
and the only change he's making, have you seen?
Oh, I was going to ask you guys this because I made a video on the Football Tonight channel. You can go watch that video, by the way. That I don't know. You guys might have talked about it, which was that Harry Kane came out and talked against Gary Lineker. And
not
against, he was settled. He was polite. But in my opinion, I'm actually siding with Harry Kane because, and I'm not saying that players don't need to be criticized or shouldn't take the criticism as it comes. However, back in Lineker's days, remember, just think about this. What if today's England, let's just put this example. If last year, Argentina, there was a war for the Falkland Islands. Last year, this year, you play the World Cup. And this year, you lose against Argentina with the hand of God, whatever, but you lose. Oh my God, these football pundits all over everywhere else, the BBC, the CCB, the everywhere else, man, they would annihilate. They would get them all together, gather them up, and they were fusilating them one by one if that happened today. But nobody at that time, I'm sure pundits were critical. I don't know, by the way, you tell me about pundits back in the day, I have no clue. But I guarantee you, nobody would say this team played like shit, like Lineker did. Which, again, I'm not saying that they don't. But coming from a footballer, you should know how hard it is to compete in this tournament. You should know how hard it is to win a tournament. So maybe you
got out of jail. The 86 squad got out of jail because of the hand of God.
Hey, you see this? What that mean? You see that? That's Maradona on the second.
What do you mean they got out of jail?
Because he's saying that you guys wouldn't have lost if it wasn't for the hand of God.
Wouldn't have lost if it wasn't for the hand of God.
But he forgets the second goal that he literally dribbled from the
Well, that's on the monkey heat. That
and he literally walked in your goalkeeper's goal. So let's not forget about that.
Monkey heat missed the first tackle.
Man, I was like, come on, man. Every time I watch that play, I get mad. Like, who's going to bring this guy down? But Maradona,
he was a magic man.
But I'm just saying,
he was the player Paul Gascoigne could have been.
100%. And so, but I'm just saying, don't you guys think that, Gary, I would think you would think like me, that maybe a footballer should have, you know what, I'm going to criticize, because you got to be real to yourself. If you think that it was a bad game, I get it. But there's ways to criticize being that you play, that you've been there, and you didn't accomplish shit. It's like Harry Kane said. He didn't say it like that, but he said they know how hard it is because, we haven't won in a long time. And now I'm not going to go overboard and say that only the 60s World Cup winners should talk about football, because obviously that wouldn't be fair. But there are forms of criticizing. I'm thinking just from the old player perspective. I don't know what you guys think.
I think the biggest problem, I mean, me and Win found it really difficult to be positive while doing the commentary on that game, to be fair. And I think the biggest thing you can see, and I do understand the criticism. I mean, I know you've harped on about 86 and so on. And when you look at it in the context, Maradona was superb on that second goal. Nobody can fault that. Nobody would know if the hand of God goal was ruled out, how the game would have would the game have changed? I don't think so. We'd probably still have lost. But I think what Gary Lineker and Shearer were talking about was the amount of players that didn't want to play. I think it wasn't just the one or two players that you often see in a team that just don't hit the high notes. It was the fact that, and me and Win said exactly the same during the commentary. From Harry Kane, who was the first pusher, and like these guys were saying, when one guy goes, it triggers movement from 2, 3, 4, 5 players. When you've got your front player dropping off to keep the shape, everybody else steps back with you. And before you know it, like we were literally 10 yards outside our box. Now, if that's from the front man, Harry Kane, everybody follows suit. And it was like a domino effect. And what the lads were saying too is they couldn't see in the whole 11 that come on, apart from when they started to make the substitutions and we started to get players turning their defence, no player showed up that day. And that's what they were saying. And you keep on saying, Chris, about the passion, playing for your national team and everything else. Yeah. And I totally agree with you. And that's what you're expecting. And that's what these guys are expecting, being ex-internationals themselves. Every time they put a shirt on, they went out and did a shift. May not have got the results, but they come off the park saying, guys, we've tried our hardest. Now, what they were alluding to, there wasn't a single player that they could name that tried.
Yeah,
And we're all there for critics, aren't we?
I agree.
We get criticised.
I agree with that 100% because on that I just quickly pulled up. I'm quick with it. I'm quick with my fingers, man. That's why I stay married.
I was.
3 kids. Well,
I'm better with my tongue.
Well, I had no correlation, by the way. I just said that. But this tweet right here. It almost made me tear up just reading it. It was Paul Gaza that says, "I asked Terry, are you okay?" What's his last name? Terry who?
Terry Butcher.
I asked Terry, "Are you okay?" Look at this, by the way. This is like wearing an away shirt. And he just said, "Fuck."
That was
Gaza.
when they didn't stop the game for head wounds.
That's right. He said, "Fuck Gaza. I feel nothing. This is England. This is my house. And no fucker comes to my house and takes anything." Sir Bobby Robson grabbed me and said, "That's what it means to play for your country." And I thought I needed water because I was about to cry as soon as I read it because that is what it is, man. That's what this means. Your country. You can have a Mackham, you can have a Newcastle player right there next to each other, but when they put that white shirt on with the 3 lions, nothing means more than beating the opposition for your country. You see what I'm saying? And that's what some of these players
also look at. Yeah, Chris. What you also look at, buddies, if you look at the Alan Shearer and Lineker interview, they praised massively individually for their club when they're playing the whole season. They've been saying they've been doing this, that, and the other. They've noted certain points of the games that they've been involved with. What they're saying against this international team is it because you've got 3 right backs playing on the field and people don't know, where to play, who's pressing what? Is it the fact that the shapes all over the place? It's imbalanced with Foden on the left-hand side, not having a natural winger. They were trying to highlight the fact that the way they played, it was a gamble that hasn't worked. It wasn't a direct criticism to anybody individually. It was a gamble of Southgate that they said, there's no reason why we can't trial it, but it just hasn't worked. And what you've got now is a team that underperformed, criticising the presenters, saying that these guys should know better. They've been there and worked their bloody shirts off for that. No,
team. You're right. In that sense, yes, the team has to give their all. I want to tell you what Harry Kane, though, one thing that I'm sure he was probably trying to do with this. But shout out to Andrew Bell, one of our lads that gave away a membership, and he has gone to Soph and UFC. So shout out to Soph, and thank you, Andrew, man. I appreciate that. Another shout out goes to my man Martin from the Mancunian Way. Man City fan channel, great stuff, man. They were live concurrent with us, and, great content, and look forward to me and Martin. We're in talks, man. We're gonna sack everybody in here. We're gonna bring Martin. We're gonna have the Oil Classico channel. No, I'm playing. Shout out to the Mancunian Way, man. But
Colombia have just taken the lead, by the way.
One thing that I would have to say about that situation is that maybe Harry was looking at it from a leader's perspective and saying, I can take that hit. Maguire, he's not on the team, but he's been the most online abused player in the history of the 21st century. And maybe those guys can take it. But he's probably saying, which I listened to him actually, and so I do believe he meant this. But the younger lads that are coming on, Gordon, who hasn't played, I don't know why, Cole Palmer, one of these guys, it doesn't help. I'm sure they want us to win, he said, the former players. But it doesn't help. But he was very polite, though. He wasn't like, confrontational or anything like that. But I get both points. Listen, everybody wants England to win as far as English people, unless you're DX. And he wants. Being
an England fan, mate, he's very much like being a Newcastle fan. We haven't won anything for years. 66, a long time, same as 69 is, mate.
Yeah. Haven't even won the Euros, man. That's unbelievable, man.
Busy fingers in 69.
Almost got close though. Got close, but you gotta. You know what? When you get close, when you get to the finals, football. I don't even want to say it comes second, but it almost feels that way. Like you got to be a dog. It's
like I say about Newcastle.
You got to be a dog, man. And in that final, I think that inexperience got the best of Southgate, and
Totally agree.
and the players too. Also, I mean, there's no way I'm putting Saka, even though he's got. You told me, Gary, that he's the best penalty taker in the history of football. I understand that, but he was 13 years old when he took that penalty. No, absolutely no way you can put.
He's 25.
Well, I know, but when was he ever in that position? You know what I'm saying? So that's an experience in itself. I'm 30. You put me on the pitch right now, I'll shit myself. You know, so it's simple as. But I mean,
yeah, but that's not your trade. I mean, I ain't being funny, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, both me and yourself have got a background. You put half of these people now in our background, and they'd shit themselves. You got me?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying, mate. These guys are paid to do a job the same as we were paid to do our job. And yes, there's times where you're glad you got bicycle clips on because there was shit going to come through your trousers because you were, really serious situations. And I don't mean by kicking a leather ball around a fucking park. I mean about life and death. And that's what I'm saying. These guys should have the pride of the nation on their shoulders. Yes, there's pressure there. I'm not debating that. Yes, there's always pressure at internationals. But these guys are doing it week in, week out for their domestic club. And unfortunately, under Southgate's rule, they're just not proving it at international level. For some unknown reason. And the guys, Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer, both said they're only getting the information from Southgate. Because if you looked at when we played Italy a few years back, we did exactly the same. We were 1-0 up, and then we started to defend. We stopped playing our natural game. We just tried to defend the goal. And that's against international teams you can't do.
Listen, I agree with you. As much as I've kind of defended Hurricane on this one, I get to say, and if we get to 1 million subscribers, if we stay at almost 2,000, our job here is not to be anybody's best friend. It's to say what we think, criticize when we need to, or praise when we need to, either or. But it's not to be anybody's best friend. It's only the mighty Wayne that kneels down. He puts a ponytail up and he gets down to business with Dan Barn. Anybody else? I don't. That's not my job. I come here and criticize players, and that's what or praise players. And say my truth. And everybody is the same. I don't agree. I don't agree with my man DX. The things that everybody needs to have flair, center forwards, and all that stuff. I understand. That's his opinion. He's got a pink chair, though. He's got a pink chair, so you got to bear with that. But to finish off, by the way, so tomorrow the members only England versus Serbia? No, not Serbia. Slovenia. So
by the way, Saka was 19 when he missed the penalty.
Exactly. He wasn't on 25, man. He's 25 now.
I thought you were talking about Southgate. Sorry.
No, Southgate was 25.
Yeah, when he missed the pen in 1996.
Oh, okay, yeah. Come on, you guys haven't been winning shite, man. Even with Southgate.
Well, and it's the point I keep making about Newcastle, Christopher. We haven't got that winning mentality when it comes to must-win games.
We're England.
The collective mindset of the team hasn't learned how to do it. And the only way you learn how to do it is by doing it the first time. Once you've done it the first time, you all know the exhilaration you get from having done it, etc., etc., etc. And you also, that exhilaration to me must outweigh any down feelings you have when you lose in the collective spirit.
Yeah.
Because once you've actually won something, then you know what it means, and the next time, my God, you're going to do it when you're in a must-win situation. And we are notorious, as you know, for not winning must-win games.
Andrew Bell says, so the stream tomorrow is subscription only. The match, England match, it's a bonus, for us. So we cover Newcastle United, of course, but since it's England, we're going to put it on the members only. So you got to be a member to watch that. Andrew, you're a member. Ian, John, QUP, all these guys, Niall, everybody, Queen of Heart. Members, come on and watch England. Gary and the Mighty Wayne are going to be watching that, of course, tomorrow against Slovenia. So the power for Slovenia, man, you got to win. I mean, I guess if you draw, but I mean, but Denmark has.
No, we're definitely through now, regardless.
Oh, you're through now? Okay, so you guys are good then.
Absolutely through now because Albania got beat.
Oh, Albania lost against the mighty Spain, who are going.
Put out the reserves, I would.
But you guys didn't know, but I have my direct descendants are from Spain, Barcelona. But actually, when I started representing Barcelona, I mean, repping Barcelona. I mean, sorry,
You played for Barcelona.
Spain. No, my dad's family, my dad's granddad, it was from Barcelona.
Oh,
so
right.
They moved to Peru during the Catalunya BS that they went through. But there was one thing. This is a funny thing. I learned that was the case. Actually, my dad's sisters, they all live in Barcelona, and cousins, etc. So I start talking about Spain, kind of cheering on Spain. But I get a call from my family members and some of my cousins giving me shit, talking about, what are you talking about, man? We don't cheer for Spain. And it's like, what are you talking about, man? It's in Spain. And they say, no, our country is Catalonia. That's our country. I was like, shut the hell up, man. I don't know if you guys know.
They're going for independence, man.
Yeah, they go for independence. No, it's in Spain, and we root for Spain. In Spain, look at all those. I told Piqué, Piqué, defender, former Man United player, Barcelona guy. He kept saying independence. Well, why don't your ass say, I quit Spain in your prime and go play for Catalonia then? Because nobody would have done that. No, Xavi Hernandez, nobody. They all wanted to win the World Cup, which they did. And so it's a anyways, that's a political side of things. So yeah, tomorrow, England members only. I got a quiz, public quiz. Who passed away? Former player, 1987.
87.
That's an easy question.
Well, any clues?
How old was he?
Jackie Milburn.
No. Okay, let me see. Let me give you some hints. He was a big, strong striker. Signed from, is it Vikers?
Vikers
or Vickers? No, signed from Vikers or Vickers Armstrong, and he appeared to have it all. But there was one thing in his way, and it was Jackie Milburn. So he couldn't. That's
one for Mighty Win, I think.
Go any farther. But
who was the understudy to Jackie
in other words, Jackie Milburn kept him out of the team.
Yes, the understudy.
And presumably maybe came into the side when. No, well, Milburn's before my time. Just Vic Cable.
No.
Let's have another guess.
I'm trying to think of who the centre forwards after.
O'Reilly, perhaps.
No, man, all of you are wrong. Andy Donaldson.
Never heard of him.
That's not a real player.
No, it is, man. I'm telling you. Look, Andy Donaldson.
Right Apologies, by the way, if any of his family are listening. Just unfortunately,
man, you gotta say it with your chest, man. Stop apologizing and praising at the same time.
Donaldson. Oh, you mean the guy who played for Sheffield Wednesday?
No, okay. So another one on this day. No, June 21st. Not on this day, but this month, a couple of days ago. In 2020, easy. So everybody should get this.
Yeah.
After COVID, who did we play? After the COVID with closed doors, who did Newcastle play, winning 3-0 at St. James's Park?
Oh yes, easy.
And who scored?
Sheffield United. No, Burnley.
What data we're talking about?
2020. So who did DX say?
Burnley or Sheffield United? Sheffield United.
Who do you think mighty win?
I thought Burnley.
Behind closed doors.
I think it is Burnley. I think it is Burnley, actually.
So it would be when the COVID. Who did we play when the COVID thing was on?
Didn't I just say that? Stop stalling.
I know our last game was against Southampton at St Mary's before the COVID thing. I think it was Sheffield United, wasn't it? I think it was.
So it is Sheffield United. We beat them. What was the score?
3-0.
You just said.
We beat them 3-0. Who scored?
I think Maximin got 1 and maybe Wilson got 2 or something. I can't remember now.
Okay, so he says 2 Wilson and 1 Maximin. What about you, Mighty Win?
No idea.
What about you, Gary?
Couldn't remember the game at all.
I've got a feeling that Maxi and Wilson scored, but I don't know whether Wilson scored two.
He might have got two.
So it was a 3-0 against Sheffield. Restart of the
COVID
thing behind closed doors. It was Maximin, it was Richie, and it was Joe Linton.
Richie.
Oh,
Joe Linton.
Richie.
Yeah, man. You know
Well,
that.
there's a collector's item.
There you
We
go.
did well,
All
didn't
right.
we?
One more, and we go. My win. I'm giving you all these assists, man. Come on, score for once. You can't even score in the brothel, man. Come on. Born on this day, June 22nd. Sorry. Born June 22nd, 1996. Young player. Ex Newcastle United. He played with the Fun 88.
Is it Adam, his first name? Adam Campbell. Adam Campbell.
No, man.
June 22nd.
Born 86. So that makes him...
No, 96.
He's 28 years old right now. He is, let me give you this, because obviously that's the Rafa era. So he is from Pamplona, Spain.
Oh, Josep Perez. No, he's not that young, is he?
Catalan?
No, man.
No, Pamplona.
Maybe about 50.
Pamplona.
Paraguay. I don't know, which is in...
Well, let's think. Okay, Spain. Okay, it's Mikel Merino.
You Google that shit, man. Come on.
No, I was just thinking of any Spanish players we
It's
have.
Mikel Merino Sasson.
Yes.
That's
That could be either him or Marcelino.
Former Osasuna.
Marcelino's about 50.
He came to Newcastle on loan, then stayed for another season, and left to Real Sociedad, where he is currently.
And he's currently playing for Spain.
There you go. Another good. So there you go. So that's one. All right, folks. Well, Gary.
Today for Spain, Marino.
Yeah.
Just a quickie. Just again, we're going on what.
You gonna do no quickie with me, man? I don't play that.
By the way, Mickey's toe down now.
They call him the.
It'll be the best 30 seconds you ever have.
Hey, man. Anyway. I don't play in the crying game, brother.
I just wanted to give a bit of a shout out to one of our ex-players, if I may. Carrius got married. Lewis Carrius got married.
He did.
He's DAZN television presenter, Diletta Liotta, this weekend, tying a knot on the tiny island off the coast of Sicily.
Has there ever been a better looking football couple, do you think?
There was some lovely photographs.
No, I don't think so. What's some money they're going to get off OK Magazine, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Quite something.
All right. Well, appreciate everything, folks. Appreciate Gary. Sorry if I was late, man. You know, I couldn't.
No worries, buddy.
I couldn't do it, but thank you for that. Next 29 tomorrow, Who've the Twat show at 9 p.m. from 9 p.m. all the way through until what 10:30 or so. Now we're an hour and 30 minutes. Those guys have a lot to talk about. Nobody else will be live, so they will be live tomorrow at 9 p.m. Check them out. Earlier in the day, England versus some country.
What time do England play?
Slovenia.
What's up, DX?
What time's the kickoff for England? 8 o'clock, is it?
8 o'clock, yeah.
England is 8 o'clock, isn't it? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. We might want
to
switch that.
O'clock anymore, Chris.
We'll have to have a little think about this.
We're gonna have a little thing. Maybe you guys come on exactly after the match.
Yeah. Come on after the match.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that.
We'll be on till midnight at this rate.
Well, there it is, man. But we'll have to see. But anyways, you know, we always have Newcastle shows anyway. But yeah, come on, you England tomorrow, man. Imagine if Slovenia like a dog, man. Oof. Oh man.
Why do you want to be supporting Slovenia because of Dubravka? Or is that
Slovakia? Oh, Dubravka play? Oh yeah, that's right.
Slovakia.
That's Slovakia. That would be good if it was.
We could be playing dubs in the next round.
Who would you support?
Yeah. All right.
Who would I support? I'd want to see him have the worst game of his life.
Yeah.
I'll take all that flack.
Next
it means England are getting through.
This week is regular schedule. Of course, we'll have to see tomorrow, but I'm sure we'll be live at regular time. But this week is good. Next week we're gonna be doing the show every day. So, but I will be gone from the 29th to the 3rd through the 3rd because I'm going to Miami, going to see Messi and in Peru. Yeah, there you go. Messi in Peru. But so going on vacation. So Gary, you know, he'll be taking over, and I'm sure DX is going to be hosting the show, and you know, we're still going to have a show. So very thankful of these guys hosting and doing their thing. Appreciate it. Mancunian Way says you won't hear anything from OT's arbitration. It was never meant to be public. Wait, is that something to do with Man City?
Yeah, well, I thought the findings for that were coming on Friday.
Man, come on, man. This is England, man. You know, things don't happen like that. You kill somebody, they prosecute you 10 years later.
By the way, congratulations on the way it's all been kept hush-hush.
Yeah,
How they've managed to do that is
professional,
quite amazing.
Yeah, and we're definitely gonna again. We're gonna have to talk about this, Martin. We got to get together and talk about this, man. We're the oil brothers, so we gotta whatever you go through affects us. So we gotta have to sit down and have a discussion. And you can educate us as well, because you're obviously knowledgeable in your own club, obviously. So it'll be interesting. Because Mighty Win here, he's a Man City fan, the old guy on top of me. Well, that sounds weird. The old guy on top of me. But yeah, he's a Man City fan. He says he's a Newcastle fan, but he's always in Man City's business. So we'll have to see. Martin says no. It last Friday it ended. Last Friday it ended.
Yeah, that's right. It ended last Friday. And I thought the findings were going to be this Friday.
Oh yeah. So he said Arsenal leaked it. His editor's wife at times told him. We were challenging rules, whether it was lawful. Yeah,
I know all about that.
It's a can of worms, man. But it benefits us if you win. So, all power to you, man. Hopefully, you win, and
good luck.
And there you go. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're new, of course. And we'll be live tomorrow again, doing more stuff. Come on, you England! Tomorrow.
Come on, you England!
Come on!
Anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Come on, you England.
There you go.